You might not even realize it, but someone carries your name in their thoughts every time they feel the need to be a better person. This person saw you, felt you, perceived you in a way you never imagined. It might have been your strength, your determination to move forward when everything suggested otherwise. It might have been the way you didn't give up, the words you spoke that echoed in their mind. Now, in the silence of their own struggles, this person understands. They need to change. They need to become someone different. They need to find themselves again. And the spark of this decision came from you. You are the starting point of this transformation. Without even knowing it, you became the living proof that there is something greater, something that rescues, that gives hope, that provides the courage to return. Now, one question remains. What if this person is about to take the first step? Are you ready to be a part of this change? This is not a hypothesis nor a vague assumption. This is a fact. There is someone right now looking at themselves in a different way because you existed in that person's life. It could have been a seemingly ordinary conversation. Perhaps you said something that seemed insignificant at the moment, but inside, it resonated. Or it could have been your silence, your presence, your attitude toward life. Something in you broke this person's resistance and sparked their restlessness, and that restlessness grew. At first, it came as a subtle discomfort, an insistent thought, a feeling that could no longer be ignored. Then, one day, this person looked in the mirror and realized they could not continue as they were. They need to change. And this decision carries your name. But this change isn't easy. It carries weight, memories, mistakes, pains, the fear of what was and the uncertainty of what could be. But your existence brought a glimmer of possibility, something this person hadn't seen before. Perhaps she distanced herself. Perhaps you felt her absence, questioned it, and tried to understand what happened. The silence, the distance, the unspoken words. But what you don't know is that during this time, this person was fighting with herself. And now, after so much resistance, she wants to return. Not necessarily to you, but to what you represent, to the truth that you carry, to what made her see a different path. And this decision may be happening right now. Perhaps this person is holding the phone, contemplating whether she should call you. Maybe she's rehearsing words, preparing an apology, a reunion, a fresh start. Perhaps she is just waiting for a sign. And the lingering question is, what will you do when it happens? When that moment arrives, what will you do? You have two choices. You can ignore it, move on as if nothing ever happened, as if this person never carried your name in her deepest thoughts. Or you can acknowledge the impact you had, understand that even without realizing it, you were an instrument for something greater. But there is a truth you need to accept. This person is no longer the same. What she has experienced recently shaped her in ways you might not recognize at first. The change didn't happen overnight, and the process is still ongoing. It is being constructed moment by moment, amidst doubts, fears, and a genuine desire to be better. She had to confront painful truths, look within, and admit what she had tried to hide for so long. She needed to face her own reflection and realize that she could no longer keep running away. And within this internal battle, the image of you remained, whether for the good you did, whether for the example you set, whether for the absence you left. Now this person feels she needs to step forward, and even though fear paralyzes her, she is about to act. Maybe she'll show up suddenly. Maybe she'll send an unexpected message, filled with simple words but loaded with meaning. Perhaps she'll find a subtle way to get close, unsure of whether she'll be well received. But deep down, what this person desires the most isn't just to be accepted back. She wants to know if there's still a place for her in the story that you are writing, because ultimately, you weren't just a name in her life. You were a landmark. So now, are you prepared to look into this person's eyes and realize that something inside her has changed? Are you willing to understand that despite the marks left by the past, the present can still be rewritten? And then, what will you do when that reunion happens? Because yes, it will happen. It might not be today, it might not be in the way you imagine, but this person has already decided within herself that she needs to take a step, and that step inevitably leads to you. Maybe you're asking yourself, but why me? What did I do that was so important? The answer isn't about what you did, but about who you are. At the moment when this person was lost, you were a point of reference. In the internal chaos she was experiencing, you were a reminder that there was still something pure, something true, something worth seeking. You may have thought you were just someone who passed by, that your presence left no trace. But the reality is that, even without realizing it, you became the foundation upon which this person began to rebuild herself. And now she needs to know. She needs to know if that reflection she saw in you still exists. She needs to know if the inspiration she found still makes sense. She needs to know if she can look at you without fear of rejection, judgment, or guilt. But before all of that, you need to be ready to look at this person without the shadow of the past. Can you see her for who she is becoming, and not just for who she was? Are you willing to understand that change is a process that requires setbacks, new beginnings, and uncertainties? Can you embrace it without questioning the time that was lost, without demanding detailed explanations for every mistake, without making this return an even heavier burden? Because, for this person, coming back has already been difficult enough. And what happens from here is in your hands. Now the question is, will you open the door? The door is right in front of you. It hasn't knocked yet, but it's there. You can feel it. You notice the signs. It might be a subtle presence on social media, a name that keeps coming up in conversations, a hesitant move from someone who wants to return but fears what they will find on the other side. Maybe this person is waiting for a sign. Perhaps they need the assurance that they won't be pushed back into the darkness they fought so hard to escape. And here's the truth you need to face. Whether to forgive or not, to welcome or not, to continue or end, any decision you make will be definitive for them. If you close that door, the message will be clear: there is no more space, no way back. And this person will have to carry the weight of that answer for the rest of their life. But if you open it, know that you aren't just allowing a presence to return. You are giving a chance for a new story to begin. Don't be fooled. This person is still learning to be who they want to be. There are unspoken fears, insecurities that haven't completely vanished. Shadows of the past still follow them. And all of this needs to be confronted. What matters now is, what are you willing to do with this opportunity? If you decide to listen, then really listen. Take your time, without hasty judgments. Don't feed the need to make them pay for the time that was lost. If you choose to give space, then let it be a real space where this person can grow, make mistakes, succeed, and above all, move forward. And if you decide to close that door, then do so fully aware that it could define not only her present, but also her future. Because to this person, you are still the voice that echoes in the silence. And maybe, just maybe, you are the last chance she has to believe that there is a new beginning. Now look at that door and answer, do you leave it open or closed? The decision is in front of you. That door, which once seemed like just a distant possibility, is now a reality. The return you might not have even expected has happened. And now, what to do? There are no rules for this moment. There is no exact script to tell you how to react. There is only the raw and naked truth of a reunion that carries weight, memories, changes, and an uncertainty that hangs in the air. This person is there, perhaps right in front of you, maybe waiting for an answer, perhaps just trying to find the strength to express what she feels. But there is something you need to understand before anything else. She does not expect everything to go back to how it was, because the past no longer exists. Time has passed, the pains have shaped, the mistakes have taught, and life has taken turns that no one could have predicted. What existed is left behind. What exists now is a question mark, and that question mark lies with you. How do you look at this person without reliving everything that was? How do you see what she has become without the weight of the wounds that remain? How do you know if this return is real or just a fleeting impulse? The truth is, you will never know for sure. But one thing is certain, no one returns without a reason. This person could have moved on, could have erased any trace of what you once shared, but she did not. Something inside her brought her back. Maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's regret, maybe it's just the need to show that there is still a bond. What you do with this is what defines what will come next. If you decide to listen, then let it be without interruptions, without prejudgments, and without the need to measure the past by what was lost. If you decide to allow a new chance, then do so knowing that no one comes back perfect. If you decide to close that door, then let it be with the certainty that the choice was made clearly, leaving no room for doubts that will haunt you later. Because one way or another, this decision will not be forgotten. And now, are you ready to give the answer that this person is waiting for? The answer is in your hands. This person waited. They rehearsed every word. They carried the fear of rejection, of disdain, of the silence that could come as a response. Yet still they returned. Still they are here in front of you, waiting for a gesture, a reaction, something that will indicate if there is still a path or if everything is lost forever. And now, everything comes down to a moment. Her gaze searches for yours, seeking any trace of understanding. Breath held, heart racing. You feel it, you sense it, because no matter how much time has passed, no matter how life has taken different turns, this connection never completely disappeared. But you hesitate, because the past cannot be erased, because the scars are still there, somewhere inside you, because the doubt still echoes, is it worth it? This person is different. You can see in her eyes that something has changed. She is not the same one who left. She is not the same one who got lost. There is a weight on her shoulders, a lesson that only pain can teach. And yet, there is something familiar. The essence is still there. The truth that once united you both still exists, even if covered by the scars of what was. And then the moment arrives. She takes a deep breath, faces you with everything she has, and says the only thing that needed to be said, "I'm here." There are no long excuses, no empty justifications, just the presence, just the desire to start over. And now, the question is no longer with this person. It's up to you. Are you ready to respond? Silence settles in. The words have been spoken. Simple, direct, loaded with everything that has been held back for so long. I am here. And now, what will you do with this? Time doesn't wait. Every passing second is another weight added for the person in front of you, vulnerable, exposed, waiting for a response that could change everything. You notice the details, the gaze that carries a mix of fear and hope, the restless hands, as if holding something invisible, something that, if released, could be lost forever, the held breath, the silent expectation. And you feel that this person is different, that something within them has truly transformed, that the road back was long, painful, filled with battles you never saw, but that left deep marks. You could ask, why? You could demand explanations, reopen wounds that may not need to be touched anymore. But the truth is, deep down you already know. You know that this person didn't return by chance. You know it wasn't a momentary impulse. You know that in some way your presence still makes sense to them. The question is, does it still make sense for you? If you say yes, you will be opening the doors to something new. Not to continue from where you left off, because that no longer exists, but to build something on different ground. If you say no, you will be closing a chapter, and you need to be ready to handle the weight of that decision. Because this person may never come back again, so you take a deep breath. Your heart races a little. Your hands clench for a moment. You look this person in the eyes, and in that brief moment, everything that was and everything that could be converges. And now, will you open that door or close it forever? You look at this person and feel the weight of the moment. There are no guarantees, no certainties, just the raw truth in front of you. Someone chose to change for your sake. What to do now? You can embrace this feedback, accept that the past is behind you, and allow a new story to begin. Or you can choose to close this chapter, knowing that your presence has already fulfilled its purpose of sparking transformation. But one thing is certain, nothing will be the same as before. Whatever your response may be, it will leave a mark. Your choice now defines what comes next. And you? How would you react if you knew that someone changed their life because of you? Comment below. I want to know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to like this, as it really helps spread this message to more people, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss content like this. Now tell me, would you open this door or would you close it forever?